Hey everybody, I'm John Weiss from the University of Michigan, and where I'm the manager of the Digital Library Applications group, manager a group of developers working on digital library applications. And I want to give a little bit of a mini history on our situation there and kind of about how we're trying to go from our legacy system of digital collections and move forward towards Zanvera. So I'm calling this, like what we get out of, what can we actually extract out of DLXS, but also what we get out of it. And systematic extraction of institutional knowledge from the legacy system. Because what I realized is that over the course of 20 years of using this system, DLXS, we've had people working on that, putting content into it, and that, of course, over all those years, there are a lot of little nuances that kind of slip into the system. And we'd like to take advantage of those the best that we can. So just briefly, DLXS has over 290 digital collections in it that we're providing access to, and mostly image collections and text collections. A lot of the text has been moved to HathiTrust, but there's still some things there. So back in the 90s, in the late 90s, we started building this system, and maybe some of you have heard of it, but DLXS. And what we tried to do is kind of scale it so that we could easily flow digital collections into it and provide access, and also maintain a lot of sort of the individuality of each collection and provide the context around each collection and things like that. But it's just digital library stuff on the web, like you've seen it. It's all written in Perl, because that's what we were doing back there in the 90s. And it's been just remarkably durable, actually. Like, it just keeps running, and we've done some things to it over the years, but and recently, like accessibility and universal viewer and IIIF, but mostly it's just cranking along. Just to give you a glimpse of, it's like you search, you get thumbnails, you go look at, and then it's stuff you've all seen before. It supports metadata robustly and things like that. It's not really the point of my talk, but I wanted to give you a glimpse of it. There it is with universal viewer and some recent UI improvements and things like that. Just so you have a glimpse of it. DLXS is heavily collection-based. I mean, it's not like you're just putting objects in a repository. You're putting objects in a repository in a collection, and that's the way it is. And I think we really like to move away from that kind of structure. We need collections stored, but I think they can be more virtual than they have been. But it's kind of an important aspect of the system. As I go along here, you'll kind of get a sense of it, I think. Again, divided by format, behavior, books and images, and in the future, we'd really like to get to a more dynamic kind of collection model. I don't really mean for you to read this, but what I want to say is that there's information in the system at a lot of different levels. I mean, at the collection level, we have information, there's like a lot of configuration. DLX is very configurable. And so a lot of decisions were made about like field mapping and just like indexing, what were the ways content is indexed and things like that. And we're actually kind of fortunate it is in a database, this kind of collection of little metadata, but it's kind of hard to put it all together and draw, like when you're thinking about getting your objects out of the repository and moving them to something else, how you tap that information is kind of getting that. File system hierarchy, identifier names have semantic clues in them sometimes. Often information that we now wish were in metadata somewhere, in some sort of structured metadata, just isn't. Maybe it's just in an HTML file. And there are a lot of code customizations in the middleware. So per collection, we could do customizations, maybe tweak things a little bit here, a little bit there in terms of presentation of the content, depending on the collection, what the needs were. And over the course of 20 years, you know, you do a few things like that. And now you go, whoa, like, what are those things? What do they mean, even if you can read the code? You know, like, what was the intent behind that? And then lots of stuff about access restrictions to content, and the way that's all managed, and that we need to be able to move that forward as well. So initially we tried to say, okay, from DLXS to PCDM, and we tried to do modeling and figure that out, and that was when PCDM was pretty new still. And we were very new to it all as well, Sandera and Fedora and all that. So it was too difficult to anticipate all the situations in 290 digital collections that would come up, and we decided some intermediate steps were needed. DLXS has the ability to, I mean, it spits out XML. I mean, it can spit out XML, and from that XML, that's the XML that we generate the HTML from. And so it's, so everything you need in order to build the interface is like in an XML file with the CGI, it's the kickout. And so we realized that, so first of all, we're trying to get from a lot of implicit information to making it explicit as we can so that we can move it forward. So we said, all right, maybe one of the things we need to do is just hit the CGI for every object in order to get the XML that has all that, like the results of all those nuanced enhancements that we made at the collection level are kind of represented in there, and then that will allow us to kind of do some extraction as one of our sources of information for moving forward. And so that's where we're headed, but we're kind of doing this with no specific destination in mind. So we say, we're going to Sandera, but for this purpose, we're saying, no, we need to pull our information, everything we have about every object together, best we can, and then from there, we can move forward. So we've got this concept called haversacks. It's just a YAML file, actually several YAML files, and so light encoding of all this information that we're getting out of the XML and other sources, from the objects directly, from TEI headers, and whatever it is. And we pull it all into YAML files. That's the first step. And it's just everything we can get our hands on. And then, from that, we're going to bags and nets and to a standard preservation sorts of tools that we're familiar with. And then, so then we'll have bags, we'll have nets, and something that we understand well. And from there, we can say, okay, now what do we want to do? What do we want to do with that? And we can iterate on these things. We can iterate on the YAML, we can iterate on the nets. And then we're also generating IIIF, not like as an end result for presenting to end users sort of thing, but just so that we can easily view these objects and visually do some confirmation of what we understand, think we understand about things. And so we're using these common tools as stepping stones to our next repository. And it took us, like 3 years to get to this. I mean, of having meetings on a regular basis, just to give you an idea, it's just that scope of 290 collections. And the people who create these things are still here. I mean, I'm still at the University of Michigan. Some of my colleagues, we've been there for a long time. So we're here too. Like, we've got our brains, but we can't remember all that. So if we can do it automate as much of this as possible, that's what we're trying to do. I'm very close to done. So from here, we feel we can go anywhere. We've got an unambiguous structure, we have relationships, metadata that we can support a variety of uses. We want to be able to act on the METs and the bags and move forward into the future. Did I do okay on time?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
We have a break. There's a small break here